Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Well, first tonight, some good news. There's relief for Tasmanian households with power bills to be slashed by more than $100 a year. Social service advocates believe the move will ease the burden on thousands struggling to make ends meet.
This is a light bulb moment many Tasmanians will be drawn to.
I'm absolutely delighted to announce a significant reduction in electricity prices.
A power bill plunge of 7% for residential customers and 9% for businesses. The savings...
The average household, $145. For the average small business, $183.
A reduction in generation and transmission costs, as well as a drop in the wholesale energy price, leading to the customer cashback.
Delinking from the national market from a pricing perspective for Tasmania, but then selling to the national market at the national price is just a win-win.
A win too for the 59,000 vulnerable Tasmanians suffering energy poverty.
A housing crisis and also very low income supports means many Tasmanians are doing it tough and really struggling to heat their homes.
Despite the catch cry,
it's down, down, down under our government.
This was not a decision from the state government, but the economic regulator. Yet the Energy Minister denies taking credit is a political power play, instead reaffirming a commitment to make Tasmania's energy prices the lowest in Australia by 2022.
We've said that we're on track to that target. There's more work to do.
How much work will be known when the next energy report is handed down in August. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Stanley residents have gathered in their masses to protest against a proposed wind farm near the small town. Our reporter Letitia Wallace joins us from outside the town hall. Letitia, it sounds like it was a loud and colourful rally.
Good evening, Kim. Yes, that's right. Around 100 residents holding placards and chanting attended the rally here late this afternoon. Among those were fishermen and farmers who brought along their tractors and boats, lining them up along the main street to demonstrate their opposition to Epuron's Western Plains wind farm. The 12 turbines would be 150 metres high and built on the northern tip of the Stanley Peninsula. But locals here say it would take the small town, which has a population of just over 500 and relies heavily on tourism and its natural beauty.
No wind farms! No wind farms!
It just seems common sense that you don't plonk a wind farm on your top Tassie tourist town less than 3 kilometres from the town boundary.
Well, I fish from down the west coast at a place called Curta Rocks. It's from Tema to Marrawar. There's 20 odd kilometres of perfect round, nice undulating hills that would be perfect for wind farms. Not going to affect anybody down there. We're not against the farms, but why here?
The company says it has been measuring wind speeds on the property for years, and the project has the potential for the highest energy yield per turbine in Australia. It would generate 50 megawatts of renewable energy for the state's grid. A drop-in community session is happening here at the Town Hall, giving local residents a chance to ask questions, with a development application and environmental management plan to be submitted to Council in the next few months. Kim?
Pomp, ceremony and even a few sly laughs. The opening of Tasmania's 50th Parliament was far from fiery. New faces from both sides were sworn in as the Premier outlined his vision for reconciliation with the Aboriginal community.
After months of election warfare, the political ceasefire was finally in force as the Governor arrived for the opening of Tasmania's 50th Parliament. Among the fresh faces, Labor's Dean Winter and Janie Finlay, Independent Christy Johnston, Madeline Ogilvie was sworn in again, this time as a Liberal. Felix Ellis arrived with a smile, scraping into Parliament on a recount following the resignation of Adam Brooks.
I do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty the Queen.
Mark Shelton was led to the Speaker's chair. His Liberal colleagues made sure of it.
Is that motion second?
The last Parliament was thrown into chaos when Sue Hickey seized the seat. No such drama this time. The Governor then delivering a speech on behalf of the government.
For the first time in Tasmania's history, a majority Liberal government was elected by the people of this state for a consecutive third term.
The Premier also pledging to work more closely with the Aboriginal community.
We want to work with the Tasmanian Aboriginal people to ensure that we can find a pathway to reconciliation.
A report will be undertaken by former Governor Kate Warner. It will examine everything from a treaty to land returns.
I think it's an important body of work and one that will be provided back to me in a report later this year, which I will then table in Parliament.
Question time will resume tomorrow, and with both sides stocked with plenty of political ammunition, don't expect today's peace to last. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmanian News.
Well, one of Australia's richest men has bought a slice of Tasmania's salmon industry, with Andrew Twiggy Forrest purchasing a $20 million share in Huon Aquaculture. The mining magnate bought 8 million shares through his agri-food company Tatarang. Huon's share price rose by 1.2% today. Around 1,500 hardy souls have stripped down and braved the cold for Dark Mofo's nude solstice swim. The midwinter event isn't for the faint-hearted, with temperatures near freezing. But those taking part say it was worth every minute. And bear with us, despite our best efforts, this story does contain some nudity.
The sun rising after the winter solstice, but there wouldn't be any shortage of moons on this beach. 1,500 gathering for Dark Mofo's annual nude swim. On Long Beach at exactly 7:42, the drums sounded and the towels were off. A sea of swimmers donning nothing but their custom swimming caps, making the cheeky dash down the beach. Some quickly retreating, others taking time to splash around.
It was freezing, but I feel alive.
The sand is much colder than the water.
I don't even swim here in summer. It's too cold. But I'm here now.
And once you commit, there's no turning back.
Because you couldn't stop when you hit the water because there were people
just had to keep on moving.
Yeah.
Many travelling from around the country, including one group from Adelaide, here celebrating a 60th birthday.
It's good to have good friends giving you, giving me that birthday wish.
His friends managing to sneak in for a dip, with others getting cold feet just before the sold-out event.
We're all on a wait list. We only had one ticket, we gave it to him, and we just persisted and waited right to the end.
While this group of amphibians made the trip from a sunnier Queensland.
1, 2, 3, go.
The temperature inside the water is 13 degrees. Outside, it's just 2. And it clearly takes a braver soul than me to bear all in this weather.
Hot water bottle, of course, and my flamenco dressing gown.
Defrosting, the biggest challenge faced afterward. Now likely to spend the rest of their day wearing a few more layers. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmanian News.
2 men have been charged after allegedly evading police in Launceston. Police claim the pair drove for more than 20 kilometres on bare rims after road spikes were deployed near Exeter yesterday. The white BMW was finally intercepted in Launceston. The 27-year-old driver is facing aggravated evade and driving offences. He did not enter a plea and was remanded in custody to face court at a later date. The University of Tasmania has broken tradition, appointing its first female Chancellor in its 130-year history. Tasmanian-born Alison Watkins will enter the UTAS role this Friday after a 3-decade-long career in business, including serving as CEO for GrainCorp and Coca-Cola Amatil.
I'm excited to be the first female Chancellor for the University of Tasmania, absolutely.
The university is deeply committed to diversity in all of its forms.
She takes over the position from outgoing Chancellor Michael Field. After COVID forced its cancellation last year, the iconic Burnie Ten will be back again in October, but with new organisers. For 35 years, the fun run has attracted thousands of athletes from across the nation. And this year, it will be taken over by the Burnie Athletics Club and Epic Events, the organisers of Hobart's Run the Bridge.
Everyone in Tasmania has heard of the Burnie Ten. Everyone who runs around Australia has heard of it. So one thing we certainly won't be doing is changing the name of it. It's such an iconic event.
Council's ambition is to see the numbers grow, and we believe that this is a perfect partnership where the numbers will grow. There'll be a lot more commitment from Council, the community. We want to see all those volunteers back out there again.
A preliminary date for the run has been pencilled in for October 24. A team of train enthusiasts has proven just about anything can be brought back to life. A carriage with parts dating back to the 1800s was found rotting on a farm. Now it looks like new and will soon be rattling along the Don River Railway.
Open the door to the DB11 and you'll see a world as it was when trains ruled Tasmanian transport.
I think it's essential to try and keep it as near as possible as it was.
She was once part of the Tasman Limited fleet, rattling from Smithton to Hobart and everywhere in between up until the late 1970s. But her retirement would be undignified. Left to rot on a rural property, she was saved decades later by the Don River Railway. Just look at her now.
You've got the odd metal worker who'll happily turn to timber and then become a painter. But it happens. We muddle along and get there. It's great.
From the emergency equipment to the light switches, it looks like it did back on decommission day. But the carriage wasn't used for passengers. It belonged to the guard and latched to the back of the train.
In fact, the guard is control of the train, not the driver, because the guard has to tell the driver when he can move and when he can't move.
True to the train's tradition, this area, known as the ducket, is also back to how it once was. Windows on each side gave the guard a full view of the carriages to make sure everything was how it should be. But this was no easy job. Some parts date back to 1888, and the team later discovered the carriage had been involved in a crash.
Definitely talk of a box of matches to see if we could solve the problem that way.
Thankfully, they persevered. 2.5 years and an estimated 11,000 hours of work later, DB11 will be heading to the Don River Railway next week.
They all take pride in what they do, and the reaction of the public when it gets back down to Don will be testament to that, because we know what other vehicles that have been sent back, the reaction that is given to those.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmanian News.
A much-loved pooch who went missing from Hobart Airport 3 weeks ago has finally been found. Snoopy, the support dog, escaped after a routine pickup from the Qantas depot. Now, after almost a month of desperate searching, he has been located by a team of dedicated volunteers. The Maltese cross was taken to the vet for a check-up before being reunited with his very excited family.
Tasmanians can now sign up to be members of the Jack Jumpers. 2 game memberships up to courtside seats are now on sale ahead of the side's entry into the league later this year. The most expensive VIP options stretch above $5,000, but the more affordable end of the scale hovers around the $100 mark.
Good evening. Hobart 3 degrees below average today with a high of just 9 degrees. Launceston 11, Burnie and Devonport 13. 15 the top again recorded by Flinders Island and Smithton. King Island, St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Strawnall 14. Lowhead 11, Grove 7, Lyoweeney 5 and Bushy Park 4. Butler's Gorge our overnight low with a -4. Extensive high cloud streamed over Tasmania today which obscured a fair bit of fog, particularly over the north of the state. A large band of cloud stretches from northwest WA through central Australia. High cloud pushes over southeastern parts. Tomorrow, a low moves over the Bight as a front crosses South Australia through over Victoria. A northerly aspect to the winds again tomorrow, up to 15 knots inland and over the north, but up to 20 to 25 knots over western waters. We have a strong wind warning there. That's between Southeast Cape and Stanley. Hobart tomorrow, 13 and cloudy. Cloudy for Geeveston, 12 the top. A cool start for Bothwell, a late shower. 14 the high for Launceston with rain developing. Rain developing also for Devonport and 13 the high for Cressy with a similar forecast. 12 for Burnie with rain on the way. Showers developing for Strawn, 15 the top and Curry on King Island, 14 tomorrow. 15 for St Helens with a late shower. Cloudy for Swansea, 14 the high and 13 for Orford. Here's Thursday's forecast. Showers continuing mainly over the north, less likely over the south and lower east. On Friday, a few more showers along with southeast to southwesterly winds. And on Saturday, partly cloudy over the east, a few showers elsewhere and windy over the west. Partly cloudy in Perth tomorrow, rain easing from Adelaide, a bit of wet weather in Melbourne, partly cloudy for most of the other centres. Partly cloudy in Hobart at 6 at the moment, foggy in Launceston, 7 degrees and cloudy in Devonport. Kim, better tell you about a bit of my trip. Saw a lot of Tasmanians travelling the mainland while I was away. In fact, at Coober I saw a lady in her 80s and another lady in their 90s from Sandy Bay. So hi to Lorraine and Olive. And Kim, they tell me they stay up really late every night just to watch this segment.
You're so rude, and hello to them. That's lovely. I'm not sure they want everyone to know they've been on holidays, but Murph will share that. And that is all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Good night.